Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Mike Beer. Two stakes races on tap at Aqueduct on Sunday. We'll start things off with race number 8, going 6 furlongs on the outer turf. This race for 2-year-old fillies, it's the $100,000 Stewart Manor Stakes, and you can bet this card with a DRF Bets account. Sign up at bets.drf.com, immediately receive a 300% deposit match. Here's the field for the Stewart Manor. It's a pretty big field, and it features the number 6 Dragic at 5-2 for Wesley Ward and John Velasquez. This filly's been in against the boys in her last 2 races, and most recently in the Futurity. She was up and on a very fast pace and was really the only part of the pace still hanging around at the end, beaten 2 lengths by Uncle Benny, who came back to run an excellent second in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf with an 82 Beyer speed figure. She can lead, she can stalk. I have a feeling Johnny V is going to be aggressive with her coming out of the gate.
I think he is too. I also think she's the horse to beat in this race, just based on her 2 turf starts to date. She faced Colts both times. She ran really well both times. The Kentucky Downs race going a mile, where she just sort of gave it up late after contesting the pace. And last time, as you say, first to go after a really fast pace in there, took it over, closed down by 2 horses just making the last runs in there. I mean, she ran really well in both of her turf starts. She didn't win either of them, but she ran great both times.
We have several fillies coming out of the Grade 3 Matron on October the 8th, and Monette finished best of the 4 horses exiting the Matron. Monette also might have benefited from a very fast and competitive pace up front. She lagged near the back of the pack, came with a strong run in her first start in North America, and it was a good, solid performance. I guess if the pace is hot again, she'll come with yet another run. She is a battle-tested 2-year-old. This will be start number 8 this year.
Yeah, I mean, she was a stakes winner in France before she got here. She ran fine last time. I mean, the pace was there for her. The horse that won the race, Lonely Road, who was a big price, just got a perfect trip in that race and got it done. This horse made a nice run, just couldn't get up. I thought she ran fine. I looked at her in this race, Dan, and felt like, I don't know what kind of price she's going to be in here. I wouldn't take too short a price on her, but she's pretty good.
I agree with you simply because she was really aided by the pace scenario in that race, as were arguably the 3 Tradable and the 8 Jaded Lady, 2 fillies that'll be much better prices than Monette, but also kind of had the run of the race. Tradable was a sprint winner at Saratoga against New York breds. It might have been just a little overmatched in the Matron. Jaded Lady, in her turf debut, won at Saratoga sprinting. I wonder if she was a bit overmatched in the Matron as well.
I just think they were, and a little bit too tough there. Jaded Lady actually beat Tradable in her first turf start at Saratoga. She ran well that day. I thought they both did. It just feels like they're in a little bit tough here.
Maybe if I was taking someone out of the Matron, it'd be the number 5 Guacamole, who dips into the listed class after being part of that very fast pace in her turf debut. She wasn't embarrassed, only beaten 4 lengths, but she's yet to run a fast race for Todd. And if you think Dragic and the 10 introduced are going to show speed, she might get cooked again.
Yeah, it's just a question of, what kind of trip. Can she get a better trip in this race? And then will it even make a difference? Is she even good enough if she gets a better trip? Because so far her races don't really stand out.
That's really the big question for her. As we take a look at the Timeform US Pace Projector, they have her close. They have Dragic close. They have the 10 introduced out there on the lead. I'm not sure I completely agree. It's possible, but I wouldn't be surprised if she's sitting 3rd and the 5 and the 6 are out there on the lead. Introduced made a nice debut at Saratoga, going 5.5 furlongs. She got bet down to 4-1 in that 10-horse field. She opened up a clear lead in the stretch, put away the other pace foe, and it took a pretty nice one in Concrete Rose to run her down late. That horse came back to win the graded Jessamine at Keeneland with a 79 Beyer. Introduced then went to Laurel, was washed off of the turf, and won in professional fashion on dirt. I think she's ready for a big race yet again. What did you think of her blowing that lead to Concrete Rose? I know you had a little bit of action.
Yeah, I liked her that day. Listen, I thought she ran well. The pace was pretty solid. As you mentioned, she put away the other pace horse. That horse was the 8-5 favorite in there. She had to race that horse off all the way around the turn through the upper stretch. She did that. You could tell, by the time she got to the 8th pole, she was looking for the wedge. She was a tired horse. Concrete Rose had the best finish and ran her down. I thought she ran well first time out. She's a Maryland bred. Is that why they're allowed to run her for waiver claiming in her second start off of a short leg? I don't even understand how she could do that. I don't know that it's necessarily a great sign that Alan Goldberg elected to run her in a maiden claiming race in her second start, but he did. I guess if you can get away with it, you do it. and she won. Her first turf start makes her contender in here. I don't know, Dan. I liked her that day. I don't know if I like her that much in this spot.
Let's talk about the horse down towards the inside. The 2 Brooke Marie goes out for Christophe Clement. And Brooke Marie, by Lemon Drop Kid out of a Giants Causeway mare, you'd figure it would be turf. And she ran well in her first 2 turf starts going long. Who knew she'd win her maiden and off the turf dirt sprint? And she did it in nice fashion. Her race 2 starts back on turf I thought was also okay. The runner-up came back to buy her 66 in her subsequent start. Christophe Clement does very good work going dirt to turf as of late. Over the past 6 months, as we see from this formulator fact, Clement is winning 25% of the time with a 4.16 ROI. To me, this filly, though, needs a little more distance than the 6.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I mean, I know she got it done last time in an off-the-turf race. I guess I don't really care about that, although she ran fine. I just didn't love her first 2 starts. They were both going longer. Listen, maybe she's a sprinter, and maybe this is what she, more along the lines of what she wants to do, but I don't like the Monmouth race she debuted in. I didn't see any excuse for her not to win that day. She got a great trip and got outfinished by a horse who didn't get as good a trip as she did. The second start on yielding turf at Belmont, that was the faster division of split divisions that day. I just don't like that race. I just don't think it was a very good race.
The number 9 is Red Hot Dame, and you usually don't see debut runners going 5 furlongs on the turf rally from 13 lengths back to win. Red Hot Dame did so. You had to figure there was some pace going on. The buyer's speed figure came back very light, but Todd's showing a lot of confidence, shipping her all the way up north for a stakes opportunity. And as we see from this formulator fact, this is something Todd does well. Over the past 4 years, with 2-year-old debut winners returning in start number 2 on turf, 42% winners, 10 of 12 on the board, and a nice return on investment. That being said, this filly needs to improve, but she's got a little kick.
Yeah, she does. I could see using this horse somewhere underneath. I think it's going to be hard for her to win this race, but as you mentioned, Todd does really well with horses like this, so I'll take it a little bit seriously that he ships her up here to run in a stakes race. She just happens to be bumping into a couple of fillies in here who might be pretty good.
Shack's Hidden Gem, the number 7, goes out for the Red Hot Gary Contessa Barn. Was it simply a situation last time out that this filly needed a cut back in distance, or was it really she needed a class, that field of New York breds?
I think the field had a lot to do with it. She didn't beat a good one, but she did show that she can sprint. She ran well sprinting in her career debut as well, so maybe this is what she wants to do.
We're going to take a look now at our top selections for the $100,000 Stewart Manor Stakes, and Chad Brown might have another good one, Mike. You like the number 1 Regal Glory. This horse was bet to favoritism in her debut, and boy, she was so professional. She was in traffic on the turn, in traffic turning into the stretch, and once she found a hole, she blew away that field.
Yeah, she really did. I mean, it was a closer's race, and she was off the pace, so that's something you have to at least keep in consideration. But when you go back and watch the replay, I mean, you could tell that Jose had a ton of horse from the start right to the finish. It was just a question of whether he was going to get clear. Once he got clear, she settled that race very quickly. It was a very, very impressive debut, and she got a real figure for it. She's got the pedigree. She's got the trainer. There's a lot to like about this horse.
I'm a little concerned about her breaking from the inside post in here. She can't really have a misstep, I don't think, or else perhaps she's shuffled back in that similar position as last time against some better horses. But boy, 3-1 on the morning line, you can argue is going to be tough. I wonder if she'll be favored over Dragic. It's going to be close, though, because Dragic has run some really nice races. You're going 1, 6, 4, and 10. I like to introduce its debut at Saratoga. I think she will be getting the jump on Regal Glory coming into the stretch. Hopefully she is not caught up in some sort of barbecue up front. But again, I thought it was a promising enough debut from a really well-bred filly. I mean, 310,000 for an El Padrino. They liked her from the get-go. Mike again going 1, 6, 4, 10. I'm going 10, 6, 1, 4 in the Stewart Manor, the first of 2 stakes races at the Big A on Sunday. Bet them both with a DRF Bets account and the 300% deposit match that goes along with it. Sign up at bets.drf.com. Approximate post time for the Stewart Manor, 3:47 Eastern. Good luck.